JNN is brought to you by Tender Years Preschool.
This week on Jag News Network, we take a look into one of the fastest growing clubs on campus, learn about the challenges and accomplishments of a Gregori student, Kenny Hem comes to you from the JNN Sports Box, and John Franzia voices his opinion on What's the Point. All this and more on JNN.
Good morning, Jags. I'm Matthew Martinez.
And I'm Raquel Houlihan. Today is Friday, February 7th. Ping Pong Club has rapidly become one of the most popular clubs on campus. Sabrina Sordello and Tim Gallagher filed this report.
Hey guys, Tim here. I'm at Ping Pong Club, and I'm here to check out why this club is so awesome. I'm also going to challenge their players, so here we go. There we go. I'm with Jacob Collins. You are the Vice President of Ping Pong Club. Okay, what do you like most about Ping Pong Club?
You know, here in Ping Pong Club, we have the great feeling of competition, and there's just a lot of laughing and joking, and it's a good time.
Favorite thing about the club is just the social aspect. Everyone loves ping pong, and ping pong's just life. We're kind to each other. We get for the balls for each other. We just love each other.
It's brought my grades up.
Student athlete,
Because if I don't have good grades, I can't be in it, according to my mom.
Well, the club essentially started because a bunch of us diehard fan teachers kind of spurred the idea that we need a club for ping pong to have the kids at our school kind of get involved and draw on a different kind of athlete, with fine motor skills.
Do you have a paddle that you like to use? Is that it?
Yeah.
Does it have a name?
Brick.
Do you have your paddle with you right now?
I do. This is my paddle, Dodge.
Okay, what is it? Dodge.
Dude, this is my paddle. His name is Turbo.
Turbo. Everyone has names for their paddles?
No, I don't believe so, but I do.
After speaking with Mr. Mbisi for a few minutes, it became quite clear he attributes much of the success of the club to the 6 tables they now have.
Bought one, Coach Davis bought 2. We built these 3 with the ag department guys and a donation from Elliott. So yeah, so far 6, and there's talk about getting a couple more.
Hey, I'm here with Kyle Bundy. He is the best player in Ping Pong Club. I'm going to play him. We're going to see how this goes. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, it's close. All right, what's the score now? 8-0. Okay. I got this. I'm feeling a change. I think I'm getting.
On Saturday, February 1st, the Gregori FFA participated in the Arbuckle FFA Field Day. Farm Power took first high team, and the members were Spencer Blocker, Zarin Alcade Terpstra, Jacob Von Claveren, and Angel DeZago. Spencer was 6th high individual, and Zarin was 8th high individual. Agronomy took 3rd high team, and the members were Alexa Ofterheide, Nathan Rodriguez, and Eric Rodriguez. Alexa was 4th high individual, Nathan was 8th, and Eric was 10th high individual. Anyone interested in ROP, ballots will be distributed at lunch Tuesday, February 11th. Teachers and people from various ROP programs will be there to answer any questions you might have. One of our student athletes has been suffering from a chronic illness for nearly 3 years, but instead of letting it negatively impact her, she uses it to her advantage. Here's Tommy Tran and Mariah Dominguez with the story.
On a daily basis, junior Katrina Peralta follows a regular routine. She starts her day with zero-period leadership, where she plays the role of junior class vice president, spends lunch with the Pell students, follows the school day with softball conditioning, rushes to cheer practice, and ends her night with a gym workout. But there's a time when such activities were out of reach for Peralta.
The doctor had diagnosed me with pneumonia, so I took antibiotics for about 2 weeks, and that was in the beginning of April. And the last day I finished up my antibiotic, the very next day I went completely paralyzed.
In April 2011, Katrina Peralta was diagnosed with Guillain-Barré syndrome, an illness that causes sensations of weakness and tingling in the body.
It was really hard for me because I really couldn't say much, really couldn't do much. So as soon as that happened, they started the process of treatment the very next day, and they ordered more MRIs to see if there was anything that they had missed in their emergency room MRI. And there really wasn't much that they missed, but I started treatment and I was there for about 2 weeks.
These sensations sometimes spread to full body paralysis, affecting roughly 3,000 Americans, including Peralta.
I was so overwhelmed with just all the needles and medication and just all the people.
Peralta had first pushed herself 3 years ago, before her 8th grade graduation, determined to learn to walk again after losing mobility due to bed rest.
I was pretty determined to walk for graduation, and I had 2 weeks to do it. So every day I would get up and take 3 steps if that was my max.
Peralta used the doubts the doctors had towards her return to physical normality to motivate her to push her limits.
When I was in the hospital, the doctors told me that I'm not going to be playing sports the same, I can't run the same, and it's just going to be, everything's going to be different.
With the doctor's doubtful prognosis and fear from her mother, Peralta drove towards greater mobility.
When she started taking steps on her own, it was I was happy, but yet I was sad because of the fact that my daughter has to be going through this pain. As any parent, I wish it would have been me and not her. I mean, no mother wants to see their kid go through anything like that.
Peralta returned to high school midway through her sophomore year. She impulsively decided to try out for the junior varsity softball team, despite having just returned from her 2nd episode of paralysis.
When I tried out, I felt like all the other girls were they were really good, and I felt like I had no progress in the year I had been out of softball, or the 2 years actually. So when it came to who made the team and who got cut, I was pretty scared, but I was kind of expecting to be cut, and I had found out I made the team.
Living under the fear of a return of paralysis, Peralta works out daily for the solid goal of not losing her strength. Despite how life-altering Guillain-Barré syndrome may be, Peralta would not take a second back.
Guillain-Barré syndrome has taught me a lot as a teenager. It's super difficult to juggle it. I mean, in April will be 3 years that I've been dealing with it, but I mean, it's something that you kind of get used to, and it's just something to motivate you every day.
Peralta attributes her athleticism to Guillain-Barré syndrome, providing her with motivation.
I hear all these people who are just like, I'm tired, I don't want to do that because I'm lazy, and it's just like, you have 2 legs for a reason, go use them.
Peralta has not suffered from a full episode in 6 months and appears to be on her road to recovery. Her next test of physical ability? Joining the mat in 2015 as a wrestler and completing a triathlon. This has been Tommy Tran and Mariah Dominguez reporting for JNN.
Cheer is having a mandatory meeting before tryouts this year that all prospective cheerleaders and parents need to attend. It is scheduled for Thursday, February 19th in the NPR at 7 p.m. Tryout packets will be distributed at that meeting. Gregori earned 4 individual medals at the academic decathlon. Sophia Sadu scored 5th in math, Abraham Apollonis scored 3rd in English, Brittany Barbieri scored 4th in English, and Jazz Kieran Kaur scored 3rd in speech. Alec Villagomez received the award for Gregori's top point scorer. Congratulations to all the decathletes. The senior class is raising funds for this year's senior gift by selling Gregori Jaguar pennants. The gift will be a beautiful pathway to the flagpole on Senior Hill. The senior class hopes to offset the cost with the revenue earned from the pennants. So if you haven't purchased yours yet, head over to the SBO, and for only $6, you could take part in building the pathway. Now, here's Kenny Hem reporting from the JNN Sports Box.
What's up, Gregori High? This is Kenny Hem coming from the JNN Sports Box. First up, girls basketball beat Downey Monday night 54-24. The Lady Jacks took on Davis last night, so check out JagNewsNet for the latest scores. JV and varsity met Davis Tuesday night on the mats. JV dominated the Spartans 56-9 before varsity demonstrated why they've been MFC champs for the past 2 years by beating Davis 38-28. Tuesday's match was also senior night for wrestling, so we'd like to congratulate all senior wrestlers in your final season here at Gregori High. Boys basketball faced Downey Monday night and won with a score of 54-42. Wednesday, the boys then took on Davis in the rematch everyone has been looking forward to. Motivated by a chance to repeat as MMC champs, Jag played with great effort and determination. At the half, the score was 20-19. The Jags battled hard, but the Jags came up short as the game ended with a final score of 49-44. Well, that's it for the Sports Box this week. I'm Kenny Hem, signing off.
Gregori High School is raising money for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society through the Pennies for Patients program, now through February 21st. You can donate in the designated boxes in your classroom, or you can go online to www.schoolandyouth.org/SAC and select the Donate Now link to find Joseph A. Gregori High School. For all players currently not in a winter sport, baseball practice begins February 10th at 1 p.m. Boys tennis begins on Tuesday, February 11th at 2:30 on the tennis courts.
Online balloting for next year's classes must be completed no later than Monday, February 10th. If you need help with the balloting process, assistance will be available today in the library. We all know that John Franzia is no longer new to Twitter. That apparently hasn't stopped him from voicing his opinion. Here he is with the first installment of What's the Point?
So I'm sitting in stats class a few weeks ago, and I'm focusing and taking notes, but then the door opens. 2 campos walk in, and they're like, "Nobody move." And I think to myself, who in AP Statistics is in so much trouble that they need 2 campus supervisors to pull them out of class? But then they say, "Everybody put your hands in the air. Don't reach for your backpacks. We're checking for lanyards." So everybody groans. The campos get that big smile on their face, and they start walking up and down the rows of desks looking for lanyards and handing out lunch detentions. Well, I had my identification on, so I wasn't in trouble, but I still was pretty disturbed by the whole ordeal. I get campus safety, and honestly, I think the lanyard policy is a pretty good idea. When campos want to check for my lanyard at lunch or in the halls, I'm okay with that. The identification is supposed to keep us safe, so we can focus on what's important, our schoolwork. I'm fine with dealing with the punishment for not having my lanyard, because ultimately it's our responsibility to have it, and it promotes a safe campus. On the other hand, I don't think the mid-period lanyard check comes to an immediate safety concern. Lanyards are used to identify those who belong on campus and those who don't. The reason campus supervisors came into my 6th period stats class is to make sure those of us who do belong on campus are obeying the lanyard policy. But when they're handing out lunch detentions to enforce this, it takes the form of intimidation. The goal of having a safe campus is so that students have an uninterrupted and positive learning environment. So when campus supervisors are coming into class, stopping the teacher from teaching,
shifting our focus away from our schoolwork, all while intimidating students to obey the rules? I wonder, has the Lanyard Policy gone too far? Is it really necessary to interrupt class time to enforce it? I think if the overall goal is to encourage learning, let's keep the lanyard checks before class starts. And by the way, I'm pretty sure my stats teacher, after a semester of classes, knows who does and doesn't belong in his 6th period class.
Whew, what a week it's been.
I know, I'm so ready for this 3-day weekend.
Me too. Well, that's it for this episode.
I'm Matthew Martinez.
And I'm Raquel Houlihan. See you next time.